Critical thinking is the ability to analyze and evaluate a specific problem with the goal of ultimately making a decision. It's one of the most important skills to have, as it allows for enhanced independent problem solving and improved decision making. With the exposure of generative AI in learning environments, parents and educators have shared different opinions on the subject. Christine Ann Royce, Doctor of Education, states that AI can enhance learning experiences by automating routine tasks, thereby increasing the time students focus on higher order cognitive activities. However, others believe that these benefits can ultimately lead to an over-reliance on the technology, which can potentially lead to the diminishment of young children's critical thinking skills. Dan Serafian-Butin, the founder and a current professor at the School of Education and Social Policy at Merrimack College, claimed that a survey conducted in January 2026 concluded that 95% of schools believe AI would increase students' over-reliance on AI tools, and 90% believe that AI would diminish students' critical thinking skills. In this video, I will cover both sides of the issue and share my thoughts as well as my proposed solution at the end. I hope you enjoy the video, and now,
let's get ready to rumble!
Let's begin with Jessica Gross. She's an opinion writer for the New York Times who specializes in social categories like family, religion, and education. In her article, titled AI Will Destroy Critical Thinking in K-12, she voices her concern of the integration of AI in K-12 education systems. She references a statement from Alex Molnar, who is the director of the National Educational Policy Center. He says AI is being forced upon schools without any particular context or funding that would allow them to make informed decisions about what may or may not be valuable to them. Integrating AI into K-12 schools can be very costly and difficult to execute. It requires proper training for teachers and students so that they know how to use it correctly. By forcing such a grandiose shift into K-12 schools with little to no preparation time, students are guaranteed to lack the skills to correctly use Gen AI, which could lead to a decline in their critical thinking skills. Furthermore, studies show that there is actually a relationship between excessive uses of Gen AI and critical thinking skills of children. A study was conducted by Hamza Bastani et al. From the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania. Essentially, she split 1,000 high schoolers into 3 separate groups. Group 1 would have access to GPT Base, which is a version of GPT-4 that served as just a simple chatbot. Group 2 would have access to GPT Tutor, which is a more advanced version of the GPT-4 model in Group 1. And finally, Group 3 consisted of students that only had access to traditional study materials like the textbook and notes. Each group would study using their respective resources and then take a math exam afterwards. Bastani discovered that even with access to highly specialized Gen AI models, students without them perform just as good as, or even better than, the students with access. Therefore, it can be said that there is no positive effect on critical thinking when it comes to the use of AI. To start, a study was conducted on South Korean children's computational thinking, or CT, and AI literacy by Boram Lee and Kwangman Ko. In this study, 73 South Korean 5-year-olds were split into 2 groups. Group 1 was exposed to an AI robot in a preschool classroom setting for 6 months. This was also known as the initial exposure group. And Group 2 was exposed to an AI robot in a preschool classroom setting for 18 months. And this group was known as the extended exposure group. Both groups would converse with the robot on a daily basis for their given time period. Lee found that the preschoolers' CT and AI literacy skills improved after being exposed to an AI robot for 6 months. Because CT is a form of critical thinking and problem solving, the preschoolers were able to improve their critical thinking skills. And with the increases in AI literacy skills, the preschoolers also gained a higher level of proficiency and understanding of AI. These facts prove that students exposed to AI at a young age for short periods of time will develop improved problem solving and critical thinking skills, as well as deeper understanding of AI technology. Moreover, researchers Zonghua Sun and others conducted a large meta-analysis of 29 different studies to understand Gen AI's impact on higher order thinking, or HOT, which is a superset of cognitive processes like critical thinking and problem solving. Sun synthesized all the K-12 and college students' data from the 29 studies and determined which HOT skills were most pronounced, as well as a trend pertaining to the longest time period in which the skills were pronounced for and the levels of self-regulated learning, or SRL, in that time period. The findings indicated that Gen AI had the most pronounced impact on students' problem-solving ability and critical thinking skills. The time period where the boost in these skills was most prominent was between 8 to 16 weeks, and this also happened to be the time where the students experienced the greatest SRL levels. If students use Gen AI as more of a partner than a shortcut to the answer, then they are more likely to express heightened HOT skills, which means that they will most certainly show signs of improved critical thinking skills. After analyzing both the negative and positive aspects of AI usage on critical thinking skills of K-12 children, I can say that despite the negative effects, the integration of AI into K-12 learning environments is beneficial to children's critical thinking skills. In the future, K-12 schools should invest in establishing programs for both teachers and students in regards to developing AI literacy. This will allow teachers to feel more comfortable encouraging students to use AI, and it will also allow children to use AI as a partner to collaborate with in problem solving instead of as a crutch or shortcut to find the answer. That was the video, and I hope you ended up learning a thing or two.